Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today spawning in the south corner of the map, playing in red, we've got loueMT, playing as the Order of the Dragon, and his opponent in the north, playing in blue, we've got loueMT, playing as the Japanese. Welcome everyone to Cliffside. That's the map for today, featuring two very special players of Age of Empires 4, right at the top of the ladders. You know, the pro player scene is dominated by like a good few people that are kind of up there all the time, and I gotta say loueMT and loueMT are certainly two of those players that are consistently at the highest level. We're going to be seeing Japanese versus the Order of the Dragon. Bear in mind, the Order of the Dragon opening up with the Gilded Spearman. A really nice, interesting build order opening here for loueMT and the Order of the Dragon. It's a build order that actually, I think, was essentially coined by 3DB. And actually, the debut of it was in an EGCTV tournament in a high-stakes environment. And the kind of crazy thing, that scenario didn't actually look all that good. But over time, it's definitely gained popularity. You can see loueMT using it today. One thing to bear in mind, I gotta say, like the Order of the Dragon units, they look so good. That's one thing that the Sultan's Ascent DLC did so well. The visuals on these units are, there's something else. They're really spectacular. So I'm gonna be looking to see hopefully some cool units out for the Order of the Dragon. Gilded Knights are pretty spectacular as well. I mean, to be fair, all of them are. Crossbows, archers, you name them. They all look pretty decent. Now, the Japanese are a civilization that do transitions really well. Farmers are free for them in the Cura Storehouse, which is, you know, it's going to be the landmark choice, right? It's got to be. And it gives them a really nice timing, because a lot of civilizations, you know, 15, 20 minute mark, they're busy getting a farming transition, have to invest their wood into farms. Well, the Order of the Dragon will have to do that at some point. The Japanese won't, because they got the Cura Storehouse. Maybe they will add in more farms later on, but it means they can pump out units consistently and continuously, whereas other civilizations often have to take a break. By the way, this is actually kind of a concern, because loueMT didn't scout the fact that there's a Gilded Spearman on the field, and now has pushed off of gold, and he doesn't have enough gold for the tech up. He's actually a bit behind on that, and now what does he do about this? Like, he could try and send a lot of villagers to do, you know, gathering of the gold, but that's a lot of idle time, and to be fair, these villagers are so weak already, some of them. The Gilded Spearman gets a lot of damage out of this now. It looks like he's going very heavy on wood, so I suspect he's going to get an outpost and try and secure the gold. Either way, it's a very good denial. Very good opening here for loueMT. Now, behind all of this, it is, you know, he's only getting one spearman, so he'll be able to get to the next stage pretty quickly as well. And what's kind of fascinating about the strategy is that whilst the outpost probably should go up, oh, wham, he's not spotting it, so, okay, he pulled all the strong villagers, of course, to build this up, but this is a lot of idle time, right? Being caused, and the Gilded Spearman just constantly pushing these villagers away. Gilded Spearman will have to back away now because the building will go up. And so, yeah, the Japanese now going to be able to secure some gold, which he really desperately needs, to be honest, but the bigger thing is the issue of this playstyle and what it kind of now envisages for the rest of the game. Because he's opened up with a barracks for spearmen. That's going to force the Japanese most likely into an archery range in the feudal age to get those Yumi Ashigaru to push away, at least deal with this one spearman at the very least. And probably man-at-arms, right? Because you kind of expect he's going to utilize this barracks. So it looks like it's a spearman opening into man-at-arms maybe. That forces the Japanese into Yumi Ashigaru, which is not really necessarily something they want to do, right? You kind of feel the Japanese do love to get their honor bagation from their own barracks, but just because of the way this is panned out and the strategic aggression in a way, the decision making for loueMT and the Order of the Dragon, it kind of pigeonholes the game in a certain direction, and it's because the early aggression, the early investment, the early decisions forces the Japanese into a reaction, and it means that the Order of the Dragon will like to play their own playstyle in their own game. Now behind all this, with 4 villagers on gold, it could quite possibly be a fast castle type build for the Order of the Dragon. Now, this is actually a really nice play. I love this. You know, going on to Deer Camp is, I feel, very underrated. It's a free source of food. It's a very fast source of food, especially if you do look to get survival techniques. Now, you don't necessarily have to, and not a lot of people won't do so. I think with the Order of the Dragon, because they actually gather 28% faster anyway, it doesn't necessarily make too much of an impact. So I think, you know, the impact on it is a lot less. Survival techniques, I'm not sure it's totally worth it. But bear in mind, because of the units are, well, the villagers are a bit more tanky, they survive a bit better, and so going into the pocket economies this early is actually really effective for them, especially if you're looking to get a fast castle, because you need all the food you can get. Now, there is one other civilization that does a similar sort of way, or can do something similar, and it's the English, right? The English can do that. It gives them a good timing to a castle age, but of course, a lot of their strategies aren't really geared towards that anyway. You know, do like to get a feudal age aggression, maybe a second town center of the English, but that's a different civilization, that's a different story, that's a different game. But yeah, the Order of the Dragon is a very different civilization from many others, and you can see it in play today. And this is going to give him a lot of food to get to the next stage. I wonder if he's going to start making any gilded man-at-arms or not. Either way, the one spearman there has gotten a lot of value. And it's not a wasted building as well, right? Because it does feature into the long-term plans for the Order of the Dragon, whether it be man-at-arms or spearman. It's a building that they will continuously use, and it is going to be used. It's going to be the man-at-arms coming out for WoW. Now, I would like to say as well, by the way, hope you guys are having a great morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. And I'd like to say a very big thank you for everyone who's been supporting on YouTube or Twitch. The growth has been fantastic recently, actually. I've got to say, especially on YouTube, so I can't thank you guys enough. What I would suggest is that if you have watched maybe 2-3 videos of mine already, maybe drop a subscription. You never, I mean, ultimately, you clearly enjoy the content if you watched a couple of the casted games, so you won't want to miss anything, right? And yeah, I'm just trying to get the subscription numbers up so I can maybe get some sponsorships, that kind of thing, maybe get some prize pools together for tournaments. We have to see. But of course, it's only if you do enjoy the content because, yeah, I mean, you don't want to get notifications for videos you don't want to watch, right? No one wants that. Going to be hiding out in the Stealth Forest. Yumi Ashigaru is on the field, so this is it. This is the kind of interesting opening that we have. The barracks from the Spearman for the Order of the Dragon forced the Yumi Ashigaru out, but now the Yumi Ashigaru, they're going to have to deal with the early gilded man-at-arms. You can see how little damage they do. That is not good at all for them. Going to need a large mass of them before we can do any significant damage. Spearman getting a little bit too close for comfort. Might go down. No, he stays alive for now with 20 HP. Behind all of this, by the way, the timing here for the Order of the Dragon is pretty solid. Like he's almost there to the castle age. Just needs a bit more food. Spearman didn't get the kill in the end, loses his life, and that's unfortunate for him. Man-at-Arms is pushing the Yumi Ashigaru away, but of course the Yumi Ashigaru with their movement speed, they'll be able to fight and kite very quickly. 1.38 tiles per second, whereas of course the Gilded Man-at-Arms 1.12. So the movement speed, because of that, is just, you know, obviously really suits the Japanese in this regard. Opening up with a stable to get to the castle age with, maybe Gilded Knights, which is an interesting play, which obviously is another good counterplay against the Yumi Ashigaru. But then it does start to feed into what the Japanese want to do, right? Japanese will likely drop down a barracks and get spearmen on obligation maybe, and work from there. And there's the Regent's Cathedral for the Order of the Dragon. Going to be pumping out some prelates and maybe get some relics in if you can. That's kind of the game plan for the Order of the Dragon at this point. Get as many of those relics as possible, and then work from there. But plenty of production builders coming out for the Japanese. Double archery range and a barracks too. So it looks like it's going to be Yumi Ashigaru and the Honor Geisha most likely here for the Japanese. Pushing forward and trying to deny what they can for the gathering of the gold, but of course, with that outpost now placed on the gold, he'll be fine at getting the gold for sure. Golden Cuirass is going to give the Gilded Man-at-Arms, who fall below 30% health, they're going to take 20% less damage, which is a really nice upgrade for them. And yeah, there's no real harm of not getting to the castle stage. Although, having said that, Yumi Ashigaru numbers are starting to build up. He might dive this a little bit. Adding in some spearmen too, just in case he gets some Gilded Knights out. Now, the concern that we have as the Order of the Dragon is if this area is pushed and punished, only one outpost won't be enough, right? The Yumi Ashigaru might start poking in front from this side. That's exactly what he's going to do. Is no arrow slits just yet, so maybe, just maybe, might have to venture out onto the back gold. Scout, going to be making sure these villagers have to back away because he spotted it, right? So WAM not going to take any chances, going to pull the villagers back and avoid losing any. And we're going to see an early ram coming out for the Japanese. It wants to put some pressure. It kind of needs to, right? He can't really afford the Order of the Dragon to go a bit crazy like this and get the gold that he needs for units, because Man-at-Arms, Castle Age Man-at-Arms will be a very difficult challenge for loueMT to deal with. It feels like really the only challenge that they can do against that is maybe getting their own samurai, crossbows, on a musha rather, but those are all units in the Castle Age, and well, obviously the Japanese are nowhere near that. And he's going to go for the back gold, which is going to give him the gold he needs to get more units. And so this is going to just buy him some time, not a lot, but to be fair, he's got emergency repairs, right? So this is going to buy him a significant amount of time. Definitely much more than most other civilizations. Gilded Man-at-Arms being poked and prods by the archers. And, I mean, the real concern for loueMT is that whilst he's trying to put some pressure, we're kind of 9-10 minutes into the game, and the Order of the Dragon have had a booming economy, no real problems. And with the prelates out now, gathering in those relics, if he can heal up this Man-at-Arms, you know, he's kind of back to square one here, Louis. He's making some headway on the outpost. Doesn't have another emergency repairs he can use just yet before that goes down. Wood line possibly a little bit exposed, but large number of units at 21 to 6 for loueMT. But in one way, feudal age aggression is actually quite nice for loueMT because he's going to put some pressure, but more importantly, he's got a farming transition for free. And so, that, you know, that kind of doesn't really hurt as much. It did kill a villager there in the end. She wasn't able to make it back home in the town centre. Unfortunate for her. Oh, Gilded Knight. Holy smokes, that's really weak now. Just got out of there. Now, if it was just a regular knight, it would have died. So it looks like Wham should be able to heal that on up. The Prelate going the sneaky way around for the relic. loueMT kind of spots that. Alright, but he's going up to the deer camp again, it looks like. Yeah, he doesn't really want a farming transition, right? That's the problem. He's running out of access to food. He's run out of all the sheep. And this is what we talked about earlier in the game, right? A lot of civilizations do have to get a farming transition. It's a little bit awkward. And the Order of the Dragon are having to do just that right now. So you're going to have to focus on wood and get some farms out. Get a stabilized economy, food. Unfortunately for loueMT, he hasn't really spotted that. Didn't recognize that. He kind of got baited on the left side. You can imagine, if his army was in this situation now, the Order of the Dragon would be really struggling on food. Having said that, with the double outpost here, potentially could take some berries, but the coverage of the outpost is a little bit awkward. Like, the Yume Ashigaru could come on from here, could come in from here. What the main thing is that, well, his army is not necessarily where it could have been and would have gotten a lot more value if it was around the east side on the deer camp. I guess he wasn't really expecting, you know, Wham to go out there, but this is the game sense that these guys have. It's absolutely incredible. Wham recognizing that loueMT's army was on the other side of his base, and that was free to take the deer camp and the food that he needs, and now getting an outpost in a strong position, playing this incredibly well. Behind this floating gate landmark for the castle stage for the Japanese does also have the Daimyo Manor, which is going to give that increased harvest rate of farms by 25%. The farms are free already, so that's definitely a good bonus. Gilded Knight needs to be careful. There's a decent number of spearmen. We've got to get some damage in. Takes out the bannerman. Backs on way probably to heal on up. There's that castle stage now. In the meantime, the first prelate comes in to bring the first relic for the, I was going to say Holy Roman Empire, but of course it's the Order of the Dragon. So good start here for Wham. Triple archery range. Single barracks. Undermusha queued up to try and deal with the man-at-arms. Man-at-arms might get some good value. Might try and snap a villager. Villager's garrison inside, so it doesn't quite manage it and is diving underneath the outpost, which is not ideal. But he's going to chase. He's going to chase as best as he can. Yume Ashigaru do have a really good movement speed. Might pick off one villager does, so 2 villagers have gone down so far in the game, but ultimately, you know, with that relic already in place and 2 more coming on the way, this could be a decent spot for the Order of the Dragon. Committed a lot of units to get that one villager. Of course, 1 villager for the Order of the Dragon is a, you know, it's definitely a really, really powerful kill because, of course, the Order of the Dragon villagers, they gather 28% faster, and so each one you kill is a much bigger proportion of the total economy. Because, of course, with the faster gather rate, they actually produce a bit slower. I say a bit, but actually quite significantly. 24 seconds rather than your usual 20. Alright, now the man-at-arms on the east side kind of caught, like kind of chasing the spearman Yume Ashigaru, but a couple of Onimusha getting some value. He might lose quite a lot here. In the meantime, though, it might be valuable to just run away with the man-at-arms here on the east side to keep the army away from what the prelates are up to, because the prelates are bringing back home relics. So the long term, that's definitely what he wants to do, get the relics secured. This relic, though, unfortunately might be caught out a little bit. I think he will be caught out, unfortunately for him. Onimusha should take the prelate down, and does so exactly that. Gilded Knight going around the back. Sniped out a villager there in the end, on the rice fields, on the farms. Well, Guild Man-at-Arms taking the fight. Well, that's a bit of a mistake there for loueMT. He's got the movement speed of the Onimusha, needs to rely on that really. They do now start to engage. But 3 relics already inside now for the Order of the Dragon. That is incredible. He's going to get plenty of gold because of that. Man-at-Arms pretty much dead. There we go. Decapping the Sacred Site on the west side as well. Committing to some archery ranges now, so quite likely to be... I mean, the thing is, you could make an argument for even crossbows. Like, the Order of the Dragon do love to make archers, and it's a strong play. But bear in mind, the Japanese have a strong counterplay to that, right? Honorable Geisha and Samurai. So I'm kind of expecting to see Gilded Crossbowmen. The reason for that is that, well, both are ranged units, and so they can do pretty decent against, say, even Spearmen, right? So if you're worried about Spearmen, maybe that's why you've got archers, but ultimately crossbows can do a decent job against that, right? They're okay with it. And so why would you not get the crossbows so they can do damage to armored units as well? So yeah, it looks like that's going to be the case. Gilded Crossbowmen for Wham. It makes a lot of sense. I love this play, actually. It's kind of similar to the way that the French or the Jeanne d'Arc faction play into the Arbalètrière. A very strong unit for them, because of course it does a very similar job to an archer, but you know, it's got that anti-armor capability as well. Does lose the prelate, but going to pick up the relic there with the second prelate. And yeah, you can see how much damage they're doing. They're doing damage to both the Onimusha and even Honorable Geisha. Got to be careful about the Honorable Geisha though, because if Honorable Geisha get wrapped around these gilded crossbowmen, it will become a problem. In fact, he's going to go around on the crossbows and do some damage there. Does lose another prelate, but 3 relics in is already very strong. Gilded Knight on the west side. Looking to take out some of those Japanese units. Should be able to take out the Onimusha, maybe. We'll see. One more hit should do it. Can he keep up? Looks like he can, actually. Fortunately for the Onimusha. Poke and prod. There we go. Down she goes. Quite literally, because Onimusha and the Honorable Geisha are females, of course, ladies of the Japanese army. That's a lot of Onimusha, though, coming on. So wham's going to be careful, right? Because this is going to be a good raiding unit, potentially. If Wham could try and consolidate his base, play a very condensed economy, it's a really interesting choice he went for Onimusha, actually, because the only concern is that I have is that Wham and the HRE and the Holy Roman, the Order of the Dragon, rather, both civilizations tend to play pretty condensed. If they go for the Imperial Age, which actually looks to be on the card, so Wham definitely looking to go to the Imperial Age. Gets a couple of cannon emplacement outposts, then the Onimusha don't really get that much value in terms of raiding, at least. Behind all this, by the way, the Japanese have added a second and a third town centre, looking to scale the economy and try and catch up, which is with what is the inevitable Palace of Swabia. There it is. Palace of Swabia being built. Going to give villagers production 20%? 20%? 200%, I was going to say. 200% faster for this landmark and at a reduced cost by 66%. Don't forget, it's a lot cheaper to get to the Imperial Age as well for the Order of the Dragon. Pretty nifty for them. Onimusha might actually be able to chase this down and take care of that the Gilded Knight. We'll be careful about that. The villagers going to Deer Camp on the north. Get survival techniques as well, just to increase the food gathering on that. And that is the difference between sort of getting Deer Camps with other civilizations versus the Order of the Dragon. Survival techniques pretty much always worth it for other civilizations, but not necessarily the case for the Order of the Dragon. Behind all this, got the Daimyo Palace, so the farm's 50% bonus. And so, you know, the food income is probably going to be coming out of his ears right now. Look at that, 1,500 food per minute. That's absolutely fantastic. The bigger concern for the Japanese is he wasn't able to deny many of the relics, right? He's got one of his own, but he's given away 4 of them. Well, not given away, but you know what I mean. The Order of the Dragon have got 4 relics, so that's going to be great for their gold income. Going for the sacred sites. Well, yeah, he is actually going for the one in the middle and on the one on the west and the one on the east. So possibly looking to get that win condition. Trying to neutralize the effect of the gold coming in for the HRE, or Order of the Dragon, I should say. Of course, the Order of the Dragon are a variant civilization for the HRE, so easy to get them mixed up sometimes. But of course, Order of the Dragon, very, very different. Now, this is the thing. Like, he's trying to dive and do some damage, right? But this is a loss of units. Louis, yeah, this is a waste. Like, he's not getting that much value. And the bigger concern at this stage, the Palace of Swabia is such a crazy land. Oh my god, lost so many Onimusha. But yeah, anyway. The landmark, the Palace of Swabia, is so strong because of the fact that, well, what this allows the HRE or the Order of the Dragon in this case to do, it allows them to boom away, but at the same time means that they can't be raided to death. Like, okay, fine, you kill villagers, so what? Palace of Swabia, I'll just make them again. It's like you chop the head of one Order of the Dragon villager, 2 more pop out in no time. That's a decent number of crossbowmen start to build up here for the Order of the Dragon, but if the Japanese can get around this, this is the thing, right? Ah, god, that dive, it lost a lot of Onimusha now, and so every subsequent fight, he's not going to have as many units as he possibly could have. That puts the Order of the Dragon in a really good spot. Looks like Onimusha trying to get a line formation, trying to get a wraparound, might actually be able to. But is it going to be enough? I'm not so sure. Like, he's going to lose a couple even before he gets a couple of slashes, and he does start to get a couple of hits. I love the play that he used the Man-at-Arms as a meat shield. But loueMT going to ignore that for sure and run on in. The movement speed certainly helping him out, but again, you know, I think Wham doesn't even lose everything here. He's just going to keep trying to run away. Although, to be fair, the Katana Bannerman going to be increasing the damage out there by 15%. Maybe does lose it. Either way, he's going to trade it relatively well. But there's a good collapse on this. The movement speed on the Honorable really switching things up. But the reinforcements meaning that the Honorable have to back away. Behind all of this is the Imperial Age for the Japanese. Tanegashima Gunsmith, gonna give him access to the Ozutsu. Such a great unit for the Japanese. Can't wait to see that in action. One thing to bear in mind, by the way, the Orishiro from the Floating Gate landmark One is in the forge there, and where are the others actually? That's a good question. Yeah, and other forges as well, so it's definitely going heavy for the gold income, right? And I guess it goes to the super late game. It's definitely a valuable source of gold for the Japanese. Sexo activated all three of them, that is, and that's the timer ticking. Although probably not for very long, because that Sexo on the west side should be decapped. You're going to be able to go out on the boar on the deer camp. This is absolutely huge. Like, he's already got a decent farming transition, by the way. That's absolutely fine, but this food injection is going to be incredible for the Order of the Dragon. That's going to really put some momentum in. And the real concern now that we have for the Japanese is the longer the game goes, the Palace of Swabi is really going to start to make a difference. Got these stone walls in the middle of the map. He kind of needed to. He needs to find a way to delay the game as much as possible. He's got an outpost on this entrance on the right side. West side of the map, pretty exposed, especially considering there's a lot of food resources here to be had. But we shall see if Wham heads up in that direction. In fact, he is, and he's going to go for Inspired Warriors as well. Prelates can increase their movement speed by 10% and can inspire military units, improving their armor by +1 and damage by 15%. Guys, this is such a crazy, crazy upgrade, especially when you factor in that it's for the Order of the Dragon. The damage output for the units is so heavy already. Adding another 15% is incredible. These guys, like, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Considering the Man at Arms as well, the Golden Cuirass upgrade, it's solid. Got 22 damage coming out. Get another 15% chucked onto that. That's a heck of a lot of damage. Compare it to a samurai or a katana bannerman at least. 17 damage, but you know, 22 and add another 15% onto that. Very heavy. Getting a sprinkle replacement in the outpost, that's solid, and getting the upgrades too makes that economy very safe and secure for now at least. Gonna go for herbal medicine, increasing the healing rate of prelates by 60%. These prelates actually is going to really kind of give them a good fight and mix them up into the army, and why not? 2 to 3 of them could be really powerful. And he's walling up on the west side with stone walls, recognizing that's probably the biggest weakness of the Japanese walls at the moment. It means that they should be pushed in towards the east side. Ozutsu on the stone walls, just keeping the Japanese economy, Japanese civilization safe for now. It's a beautiful unit, by the way. I feel like that should be a screenshot. That should be a thumbnail. What do you guys think? Oh god, okay. He's heading on in now. Wham coming in with the Rams. Now the Zuzu will be taking less damage by being on the stone walls, but there's just so many units for the Order of the Dragon. They have to back away for now. And he should be breaking on in. A 4th ram being built on the front lines, just waiting for the stone walls gates to go down. Does have an outpost with the cannon placement, but that won't last long. Not with 4 rams there. And the units that are being hurt, like, they're just healing on up. 3 prelates. That doesn't seem like a lot, but if they stay alive, it's going to do a lot of damage. Magadal popping forward, could get a decent shot, but needs to keep it well protected. Does land the shots on the units. Does lose a couple here, the Order of the Dragon. Prelates mostly still alive, though. He's going to dive on in. Mangonel deploys once again on the Gilded Crossbow. He doesn't actually get all that much damage, surprisingly enough, and he loses the Mangonel in the end. That's unfortunate. Ozutsu firing in the back line with Samurai on a Big Asia for the Japanese. It's the army that they love to go for. And he's picking... I mean, look at the healing rate on those units. That's absolutely insane. That's crazy. How much healing is coming out there for the Order of the Dragon. Yeesh. I mean, that's so powerful. He's only got 2 prelates, and look how much value they're getting. He does now have the Shogunate Castle, could increase the gather rate of the farms, but that's really not what he's wanting it for. He wants it for the static defense component of the town center, which is pretty decent, by the way. But look at that. Another Mangonel bites the dust. Goes for a Rebuilder Quinn, but I mean, these guys, Gilded Crossbow, and bear in mind, there is the upgrade from the Minework Palace, actually, that he did get that gives them bonus damage, extra damage against siege. It's actually a really powerful upgrade from the Minework, and that's what makes actually the Gilded Crossbow such a strong unit. Like, how do you that's actually, you know what, that upgrade, I feel it's broken. I really do. Think about it for a second. How do you counter Gilded Crossbowmen? Maybe siege? No, not really. Not with that upgrade involved. Just, you can see they take out siege really easily. And so what's the alternative? Horsemen? Yeah, maybe. But you pigeonholed into one direction. There's only one counter. So imagine you get a couple of spearmen or man-at-arms, in fact anything, to deal with the horsemen, and the Japanese are in all sorts of trouble, right? I mean, yeah, I mean, that's such a hard unit to counter. I gotta say, the crossbow in Age of Empires 4, the unit is in many ways been made to be quite busted. Like, you think about Arbitraria, how strong they are. Gilded Crossbowmen with the upgrade. Okay, maybe it's just these 2 civilizations. But you guys want to know what I mean. Like, they kind of cross-cover what archers can do, but they've got their own thing about them as well, anti-armor. And factor in the prelates boosting them up. Factor in they've got the upgrade for doing extra damage on siege. They cross-cover some of the actions that archers can do. It's such a powerful unit, especially in the hands of the Order of the Dragon and the French or the Jeanne d'Arc faction. It's still going to commit to 2 mangonels, so it could be interesting. I mean, 1 mangonel is obviously a little bit easier for the Order of the Dragon to deal with. 2 is a bit more tricky. Wait, what are these villagers up to? Wait, he's going to go for a keep. He's going to go for a forward keep. Okay, we should see how he factors in this fight. I mean, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Those siege getting absolutely ripped to shreds by crossbowmen. That should not be happening. Either way, it is what it is, I guess. Well, I'm going forward with the keep. And, I mean, the problem is now the Shogunate Castle and farm's going to be denied. Production on the front lines here too. Any units that pop out are going to be suffering huge losses. Now, a lot of the economy is not like totally demolished, but a lot of it's idled here for loueMT, right? 17 villages idled. He's going to idle some more. Landscanesh getting folded. Oh god, the Landscanesh are going to be doing a heck of a lot of damage. The elite gilded Landscanesh as well. We've got to see this. Oh god, this is going to be a massacre. The blink of an eye. Oh my god, oh my god. 2 swipes and... oh my god. That unit is absolutely crazy. On the right side, he's getting a bit of pressure though. loueMT trying to do some damage of his own. Feels like the best form of attack, or best form of defense is attack, I guess. He's moving that position now around the back. Going to get a couple of villagers, but the question is, will he be able to kill his enemy before he's killed? Because look at this, these rams can take out the Shogunate Castle relatively soon. Although, you know, the Shogunate Castle upgrade is so hefty. Look at that, 13,000 HP in total. Down to 9,000, but that'll take some time. Oh god, the farms here, loueMT, they're all vacant, they're all idled. He's going to try and deal with it now, but he's got Gilded Crossbowmen, which is perfect against the Samurai. Decent against the Onabagashia. He's trying to get some damage on the right side. Prelates coming out to heal villagers as much as they possibly can. Getting involved into the fight. And, I mean, a couple of Man-at-Arms are going to hold the line as much as they can for the Order Dragon. Prelates coming out to heal on up. That's a good value here for loueMT, ultimately. Is going to get ripped to shreds, though, with a couple of Gilded Crossbowmen behind them. Katana Bannerman should go down pretty quickly. He's looking a little bit dicey for Wham, but I mean, this is only going to achieve so much, right? Defender's advantage will take care of this eventually. Eventually, I say, as the town centre almost down. Does have a couple of Azutsu actually, which will certainly be helpful. Trying to get a keep on the right side. The Japanese might actually get that up. We'll have to see. Either way, a lot of the samurai are perishing. Looks like Wham trying to balance the economy. Got plenty of gold coming in, of course, courtesy of the 4 relics, but it needs a bit more food. Yeah, the samurai are dealt with, and now Wham can push on ahead once more. Forward siege workshops, and that's going to add a lot more power to this fight. Town centre almost down. 2 rams remain, although those are going to get taken down. Oh god, the town centre is going to remain, right? Just about. Villagers should come out to repair. Keep goes down for Wham, so he's bought some time. Here the Japanese, they're fighting back. This is a great fight back by loueMT, but will it be enough? Has he got a way back into the game? The economies are relatively similar, considering, like in terms of at least banked up resources. loueMT doing a great job of this. Got the sacred sites on the edges of the map, so plenty of gold coming in that way. Might snipe a culverin, which is really a good pick off. It is, and he gets it in the end. Looks like Wham coming with vengeance once more. Azutsu waiting for them, but the stone walls, of course, for the Japanese have been breached. And the question is, will he have enough to deal with another wave of crossbowmen? There's no horsemen on the field just yet for the Japanese, right? It's not really a unit they typically go for. Cavalry is not their jam, usually. But it does mean his Gilded Crossbowmen are going to be hard to counter. Cannon emplacement. I think cannon emplacement wins this, no? I think there's a couple of villages in there, so it should be able to come out and repair potentially. Maybe not. Maybe the outpost does go on. It's going to be a close one. Villager repairs. He repairs it. Yeah, he'll be fine. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, looks like Wham's starting to build up a force once again. Prelates adding into the mix. Culverin too, just to do any damage to mangonels. That's a strong army, isn't it? Gilded Crossbowmen, Culverins. That's an incredible army. Add in a couple of prelates there for good measure too. Alright, well, looks like loueMT going to try and raid a little bit with the Onabagashia. This is a concern, right? This particular matchup feels quite tough for the Japanese, because the Japanese do love to raid their enemies to death with the Onabagashia, but ultimately, as we said earlier, when you've got the Palace of Swabi out, you know, the HRE or the Order of the Dragon aren't really a civilization you can easily raid to death. You need to take out infrastructure, that's really what you need to do, get an advantage and then do that. And Gonna get some stone walls here, Wham, but won't be able to, and the cannon placements are in. He's gonna get some damage, but you know, the cannon placement, the outpost will take care of them. Villagers he does kill. He's gonna replace them. Going for the farms once again. loueMT pulling the villagers away. Obligation going around the back. Not too much actually here though, to be fair, so might lose a couple of villagers. No unit. Wait a minute. Yeah, he reacts to it now. But look at this. I mean, look at the more damage coming out of this. Look at the idle time for all these villagers. Does have an outpost there. It's going to start working on these on Obligation. Going around the back. Mangonel does deploy, gets one shot off, but look how quickly they get taken down. Mangonel going to go in a blink of an eye. Well, actually, maybe not, to be fair. It's alive for now. See, so she could be a good pushback for Louis. He's kind of got a lot of army here. Ozutsu, although the Ozutsu kind of ran into the man-at-arms, they're not ideal. Villagers on hand, by the way, to repair the Mangonel. Oh no, the man-at-arms, they should path around. They might be able to take out the Mangonel. That could be huge. Crossbow still keeping units idled. Yeah, Mangonel. All the villagers come out to repair. Didn't quite manage it in the end. The Mangonel does go down. 3 to 4 gilded man-at-arms doing all sorts of damage. Now the crossbow is getting involved. Ozutsu trying their best to hold that back line. Obligation on the front, although Ozutsu a little bit out of position. They need to be behind the samurai if possible. There's just too many crossbowmen here, I think. And meanwhile, it looks like that town centre and keep might be the next few things to be challenged. Plenty of production going on the east side. A stable's being added, by the way. So it certainly looks like horsemen on the menu for the Japanese, but it needs to find a way to deal with these crossbowmen. They're posing a problem, that's for sure. A lot of farms idle because of it. He is adding another town centre just to build up the villager eco again, once again. Okay, we do see horsemen, but these are the regular, like, fuel-age horsemen. That's kind of crazy to think about, right? He needs the upgrades first. He needs them quick. Because, yeah, the steamers coming. This train is rocking and rolling. It's moving ahead. 2 rams, a culverin, gilded crossbowman. Look at the miniature numbers, by the way. 76 to 22. This is not looking great for loueMT. He's going to dive in with the now veteran horseman. Yeah, going to get surround. Should be able to pick these off, actually, to be fair. Crossbowmen pretty exposed. No meat shield in front of them. A good number of horsemen in the end. Now, whilst he does clear that up, though, the bigger concern that he has is the rams are starting to now move in. Going to focus on the keep first. The villagers could come out to torch. No, the villagers have to back away. They're a man-at-arms. And right, one ram is in very low health. Horsemen might start to dive on top of this. But the issue with the man-at-arms, right? There's no... Oh, this is so tough. There's no Anamusha here. There's no way to deal with the man-at-arms easily. And this transition has been a great one for the Japanese... For the War of the Dragon, I should say. I mean, the transition was good for the Japanese to go for horsemen to try and deal with the crossbows. But then that means that, you know, the HRE, the War of the Dragon, the scenario, going for the man-at-arms instead. It's so hard to stop all of this, and I think this could be, I mean, the final... Yeah, I mean, he's down to 3 military guys. This has got to be over. Amazing push by the Order of the Dragon. Wham, pushing on heavy with 4 rams, and look at this. The Japanese really struggling to get units out. Does have a couple of bombards popping out, but again, 2 of them not even enough to one-shot a ram. That's actually kind of crazy. Should be doing a lot more damage than that, surely. Does take out one of the rams. Man-at-arms might even start to torch down. Maybe go for the villagers that are repairing. Going to jump on top of the Ozutsu. And he's got a culverin. Don't forget, the culverin going to jump on top of the bombards if the man-at-arms don't get there first. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Whammo 1 takes the victory on Cliffside. A great game of Age of Empires for the Order of the Dragon. Take over the Japanese civilization. Hope you guys enjoyed this casted game on YouTube. If you did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Take care and see you next time.